Actually, it's a bit darker, isn't it? I mean, in the middle of the third test, it has to be said that this day-night game is a little bit hard going, isn't it? And it's not going particularly well, the third test either. And so here we are on day 3, but I'm not sure we're going to get as far as day 5. So welcome to our video bulletin for Friday the 26th of February. And even if the cricket's depressing, we have had some brighter news on the horizon as the government published its roadmap for getting us out of the current restrictions. In the light of that, PCC has decided that we should resume public worship on Sunday the 14th of March. That's Mothering Sunday, so I very much hope that you will be able to join us on that day. Of course, all the usual distancing restrictions will still be in place. You'll have to wear a mask, we'll have to remain distant, we won't be able to mingle and socialise, but we will be back together and there will be daffodils because it's Mothering Sunday, and for those who aren't able to get to church, we'll try and take them out to people's homes as well. Now, the other thing that happened this week was the start of Fair Trade Fortnight. Fair Trade Fortnight is a significant event for drawing attention to the plight and the economic plight and environmental plight of agriculture and the produce of goods throughout the world. And by paying that often a little bit more for fair trade goods, but sometimes we don't pay more, it means that we're resourcing farmers in developing nations to make their own decisions about how they manage their land and how they make their own economic decisions about how they sell their goods. And this is good for them economically. It's often very good for the quality of the food that they produce. It's also good for the environment because they don't have to do such intensive farming in the way that produces the most goods at an economic rate, but often at a disadvantage to the environment. So this fortnight, have a think as you shop for food about what it is that you could buy fair trade, which you don't normally do. There are plenty of labels which we all recognise in the shops, so do have a think about it. When we're eventually back in church and able to have tea and coffee after the service, I think that it's a year since we were last able to do that. Then you know that at St Nick's we do use fair trade goods and we will continue to do so. So let's keep Fair Trade Fortnight individually as well as together. It's Friday, so let's cheer ourselves up from the cricket and meet the congregation. Ian's talking to Mary this week.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Meet the Congregation for this week. I'm here with a really special member of the congregation, Mary. Mary, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's a nice day outside from the look of it and not quite as cold as it has been.
Yeah, the cold just broke. We're filming this on a Tuesday, and it's just after the terrible weekend. Anyway, how's lockdown 3.0 treating you?
Well, I have no complaints, really. I can't complain. It's changed my life a little bit, but I don't suffer the hardships that other people suffer because of my age and because of the life I lead now. So I know that other people have been very badly affected by it sometimes, but I found it okay. I can adapt to it. So I had no hardships, really.
Well, it's good to be grateful for that.
Yeah, I am. Yes, and I'm safe, and I've had both my vaccinations. So.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh, yes, but I still keep carefully aware, and I wear my mask, and there are just one or two people in this block, and we consider ourselves to be in a bubble.
Nice.
But other than that, I meet my son most weekends, and we have a distanced walk in Sefton Park.
Oh, nice.
But it's all right.
Yeah, it sounds okay. And you're a relatively new member of the congregation at St. Nick's, and as I always ask, I want to know, how did you start coming? How did you get connected to St. Nick's?
Well, my connection to Liverpool goes back to the 50s when I was a student, but I didn't know St. Nick's then. Then I was in London for a very long time with my husband, and then we were in what is known as Cumbria, but it was the old Westmoreland, and we're in a bit of the Dales National Park. And it's a very scattered community. So there is a local church, which the people there do support, but hardly anybody ever attends. And so we supported it, but we didn't attend it as such, except for special things like Christmas carol service. Then my husband always said he would like to have been buried in the graveyard there, which is a real country graveyard. So when he died, I asked them, and they were so helpful and kind to me. This would have been, well, near enough 10 years ago. So after that, I started attending, but it was a very small congregation, so different from St. Nick's. And then time went on, and I decided that it was really, I couldn't stay in such a remote place, because, you know, as you get older, you have to be realistic. And my son, who'd come to Liverpool University and never moved away, is in Liverpool. So the obvious place for me to come was Liverpool. And I knew Wapping Quay because I had an old friend from university living here. And then I found that I was in the parish of St. Nick's. And of course, having come to Liverpool, it was time for me to get involved in a few things. So I started attending St. Nick's about 3 years ago, and I enjoyed it. So that's how I got to St. Nick's.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, it's lovely. It's lovely to hear a parishioner who's in the parish. A lot of people come from outside.
I believe there are about 30 of us, and that's. But then it says something for St. Nick's that other people come from such a long way just to attend.
And I know, because I walk by your building all the time on my way down to work. So it's lovely to have you so local.
Oh, well, it is nice. Yes.
And we're so lucky to have you. So thank you very much, Mary, for speaking with me. That's probably all the time we have. But when we're back in church, do say hi to Mary. She's very kind and really fun to talk to. And I hope to see all of you very soon. Thanks very much, Mary.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, hello there. Before I send you back to Crispin, I've got a special message for you. Are you catching up on your Friday video bulletins on a fancy new computer like me? Well, then I have a special request for you. If you have a fancy new computer, you probably have a slightly older computer, which you replaced with your fancy new computer. And I need to talk to you about that older computer, because I've had a very important request from a special member of our community who can really use a functional, if not necessarily fancy, old laptop. It would make a huge difference. So if you happen to have a computer that you're thinking about recycling, that you don't really know what to do with, but that still works, please contact me at my parish assistant email address, which you can find on the parish's website. Thank you very much for your time, and do let me know if you've got that old laptop. Bye-bye.
Well, the birds may be singing Te Deums behind me loudly at the moment. The cricket is a bit depressing. We're not going to make it to day 5, I'm sure. However, on day 5, you can instead join our pre-recorded act of worship at 10 o'clock on our YouTube channel. That will be the penultimate act of worship on YouTube, pre-recorded before we resume in-person worship. So whatever you're doing this weekend, have a very good time, and I hope that you're able to join our worship on Sunday morning.